welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be forging some shelf brackets. Very simple, something you could do at home for yourself as well. We're going to be forging these for a wood shelf, so certain measurements that we need. One shelf is 10 inches in depth and another shelf is 8 inches in depth. But before we get into that, I have to make a jig for it because I want the shelf brackets to be pretty close to the same size each time. So we're going to jump over to my drawing and we're going to take a look at that. So the bar for making these shelves is 1/2 inch thick. It's going to have punch two holes for the screws. Start from 1/2 inch from the bottom, then separate with 1 inch, and then up to here it's 3 inches total. Then we got 10 inches this way for the one shelf, 1 inch high here. It's 2 inches thick up here. This is what we're looking at. For that, I'm gonna make a jig that goes into my vise so that I can adjust the length back and forth to adjust from 10 inch to 8 inch. So I got 2-inch angle iron that's gonna go in here. Each side is gonna have a different piece on it, and then I'll be able to slide each piece back and forth in the vise to get the correct measurement for the shelf bracket. The jig is finished. Now I can just adjust these either way to the size I need. For the width, I just take a piece of the bar that I'm using and I'll put it in between the two pieces of angle iron so then I got my width to go in there. Because if I don't, I'll end up creating an angle down to go around here. I'll have to measure it for 10 inches. They're going to texture all of them. Now you gotta make sure you got your tongs. I got tongs that fit 1 inch bar perfectly. You gotta make sure your steel is about an orange. Scale off. Have your hammer ready. Now I'm just taking down the corners. Alright, got 3 bars here ready to be, get the holes punched in them. Finished off that other one. So, we're going to start with punching holes. So what do we need? I need measuring tape, I need a square, I need a hammer, and punch to mark it. Alright, so, I'm going to set these two off to the side. I'm going to room on my anvil. I'm going to take down there. Start with 1/2 inch from the bottom. I use soapstone marker. You get that in the welding section in the hardware store. So I find 1/2 inch. Put a little mark right there, 1/2 inch, and then I add 1 inch to that, so that would be 1.5 inches. Yeah. Okay, so then what I do, I take the square, draw a line all the way across. I find the center, which will be 1/2 inch. And then where they cross, I just take my punch, get a good divot in there. Got 2 sitting in fire. As soon as I marked them, I put them in the fire to warm up. This one I just finished marking. These two already turning a bit red just from sitting in the fire. So let's heat these things up super hot so then we can start punching some holes. Gotta get my punch in the mark there. Make it a little deeper. There, go on to the next one. Find that. Ow. Okay, and I have some beeswax sitting off to the side here. Beeswax helps cool it, but also acts as a lubricant to help get your punch out once the hole gets a little deeper. This one is ready to go as well. Clean this off. Now if you look at this, says. It's not quite hot enough, but this is just sitting in the coal forge with no air blowing on it. So it's always good to keep that in there, so then it starts to heat up, and then you can start working with your metal a little faster. As you can see, I punched the plugs all the way out to this side. I'm going to take one more heat, and then I'm going to go over top of the hole, the hardy hole, and punch those plugs out. I didn't punch it properly on the perfect angle. You can see it's sticking up on the one side here. There. Almost a perfect plug. Now I'm gonna pick a side that looks nicest to me. That'll look nice showing out. And I think that'd be this side. So I'm gonna go ahead, put on the anvil this way. And then I'm gonna grab my bigger diameter punch and start hammering there. And then I go until I see somewhat of a wall from the bigger diameter punch. Just a little bit, and then I stop. Put the thinner punch through again. Just make sure I didn't make it too narrow after doing. Then I'll grab a screw, grab my tongs, pick this up, see if the screw goes all the way through. Yep, take it out. Other one. Yep. These holes are done. So here, you gotta make your mark on where you want the bends so that you have it the same every time. So I'm gonna start with this bend first. Once that's bent, then I can take it to the jig and make a mark on where to make the next bend. What I do, I get it in the fire, warm it up a little bit. It doesn't have to turn to a red or anything, just enough so that I can make a decent sized divot in there. So I make sure it's facing the right way. The right way would be the way the screws are gonna go into the wall. So the way you'll be seeing the screw heads. I'm gonna turn it over so I'll be seeing the back of the bracket. Then I'll do a measuring 1.5 inches from the top down, make a mark, and then I take it and mark on the anvil right on the corner. So now I can feel it with my anvil. When the soapstone mark is gone in the fire and I don't see it anymore, I can feel for that little indent there. And I just set it on the edge of my anvil, and then I start hitting here and bending it over. And then I slowly work my way down. When I put a nice indent like that, it really helps get a nice crisp corner. Start here, hit right on the end. Make sure you still feel it. You want to keep it straight. Just like that. Got your bend. This has got to be 8 inch. So I got to take into account, got to add 1/2 inch here, taking into account the width of the bar. 7.5 at this mark here, so then 1/2 inch will go over, and then it will be 8 inches. So I got it set for 8 inches. Now I take this piece and wrap it where it would go there, and then I take my soapstone chalk and draw a line right at the edge there. So now we want the hook facing up. Where you'll see the screw heads, we want that facing down. We made our mark on the jig, line them up. I can go in the fire, start warming up. Now I'm just going to do that to the other two. Alright, I got some correcting to do on some of those brackets. Now that we're finished, we're going to test out the brackets. I'm going to start screwing one in, make sure it's level, and then I'm going to put the other 3 in, make sure they're level all the way across. If they all fit properly, then get them down and they'll be ready to put the final finish on. I'm going to cut an 8 inch piece for the shelf, and then I'm going to cut a 10 inch piece. Cut an 8 inch piece of board. Fits in nice and snug. Got the 10 inch. Fits in nice and snug. I'm gonna put 3 of them above the fire to start warming up. And I'm just kind of doing a guess on when it's ready, because you don't have to wait for it to turn color, because you don't need it that hot. If you get it too hot, the beeswax will catch fire and you'll have to wait for it to cool down a bit, which is not a big deal. There you have it. All 6 of them are done. Got the beeswax finish on it. Looks great. Got nice and dark. You see the depth and the detail there. I'm going to tie these pairs together, put them in a package, get them delivered. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you could, like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one.